I officially became fat. I went from big bone to fat in like one glorious moment. True story. I'm walking and my Dr. Scholl's gel inserts, they popped. They just popped. That's when you know you're fat, right? And it felt like a breast implant all around this. I didn't take off my shoes for like 4 days. I was gelling so hard I had to change my pants. That was disgusting, I'm sorry. That's twice now. I better get off the stage quick. One last thing before I get off. Any of y'all have kids? Yes, all right. Kids are great. They're also a lot of fun, just in general, but they can be very fun in messing with your friends. Like I have a homophobic friend, right? And he feels very uncomfortable when my son tries to grab his arm if we're walking at a store somewhere and tries to swing, So I thought it'd be funny to invite him to go to Target with me. Say, hey, let's go to the Target with my son. We're going to pick up some things. He said, okay. And we're walking down the main aisle, and my son grabs his hand to swing. Freaked him out, especially when my son started going, I love my two dads! Just flipped him out. He actually took out of the store and ran up the street. Which, ironically, we picked him up in front of Dick's. So, he didn't like how that worked out. So y'all ready for your first comment? Make some noise. Put your hands together. All right, this guy right now comes to the stage. He's opening up for Orlando Jones. He's opening up for Dustin Diamond in a couple weeks. Put your hands together for Mr. Kevin Dodd, everybody.
Y'all keep it going for your host. Come on. Even if it wasn't funny, you still have to do it. It's part of the show. I like that introduction he gave, too, because we've had to work on it before, because most of the time whenever he brings me on stage, he says, a logo from Fredericksburg, and a lot of people are like, fuck, cigarette break. Anybody here from Fredericksburg? Yeah, because see, even the ones from here don't say it proudly. I could have been like, anybody here been arrested for child molestation? They'd be like, more excited than that. I need to be careful though, it's Fredericksburg. I might have hit close to home for something. Or the trailer, technicality. But I'm actually surprised we were able to get this many people here, because one thing that's starting to really bother me about Fredericksburg, let me ask you, how hard is it to pave a road correctly? I mean, so how many times are they going to repave Route 1? I went through 3 tires this year, and it's bullshit because, first of all, this is Fredericksburg. I know we have more Mexicans than this. You don't need to be like shocked or look around or anything. None of them have an ID to get in here. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They're cooking your food though, so bon appetit. It's actually funny. Who said that they did fantasy football, by the way? Who did that? Hey, just so you know, did you watch the game today, the Redskins game?
A little bit.
Okay, I don't know if you pay attention to fantasy, just a side note or not. C.J. Spiller, top 5 pick, got carted off field. So, don't pick his ass. I don't like it. Let me ask, anybody here like the Redskins? Anybody?
Yeah.
I knew we had a couple of handicap spots filled. Let me ask, any Dallas fans? Anybody? Yeah. There are plenty of trailer parks. There's always one. Let me get back on Fredericksburg, though, before I get my ass kicked. Another thing I don't like about Fredericksburg, though, that's kind of weird about our Fredericksburg, we have a mall called Spotsylvania Town Center. Perfectly normal. Now, when you go into this mall in Fredericksburg, we have a store called Spencer's, which many malls do. Spencer's sells sex toys, okay? And in most malls, they put that shit in the back. In Fredericksburg, do you know what the thing that is closest to Spencer's is when you walk out with a sex toy? Child's playground. There's a child's playground, and then yes, if you try to avoid that, a Build-A-Bear. And then amongst this Bermuda Triangle of pedophilia, they also have a Crocs store to throw you off. And then if you want to go through all of it, you have to go through the Redskins store, which at that point you're like, oh, I'm a pedophile. Another thing that's kind of weird about Fredericksburg, if y'all ever been to a Fast Mart or Valero or 7-Eleven around here, did you know that in some of the gas stations, when you go to pay for your gas, we have a newspaper at the cash register called Crime Times. Anybody seen that? Been featured in it? I don't call it Crime Times. I call it Stafford's Yearbook. But this paper has everyone's mugshot from the week before. And you know what? I get it every week. Okay, I get it not because I'm not nosy, but that's how I pick up women. And before you judge me, okay, I don't use websites like OK Stupid or Plenty of Whales. Like, this is how you pick up women, because first of all, when I go to pick this girl up, she's not going to judge me for driving a Kia Rio. And if she does, it's better than your bus, bitch. Before I make fun of people like that, though, I have to admit, just in case you try to research me, I was featured front page. And I don't say that proudly, but I look good. But I got featured in it because I got arrested in Fredericksburg at Funland. I don't know if you know this or not, but you can legally get a DUI when you're on a go-kart. I don't even know how they could tell I was drunk, but they pulled my naked ass right out of the car. I don't have the good of morals, obviously, but let me ask, anybody here dating or married just with somebody? Anybody here with somebody? It is Fredericksburg, Jesus Christ. Let me ask you though, if anybody who's ever been on a first date, let me ask you this. Where's someone that you normally take someone on a first date? Where's someone you take someone on a first date? Not here, obviously. You want it to last. The reason I ask though, I always take girls the same place on a first date. This is what I do. Whenever I take a girl on a first date, I take her to go feed ducks. I'm serious, because first of all, it shows a little sensitive side in you. Second of all, you can tell a lot about a girl the way she feeds ducks. Because, I mean, some girls will, like, give her bread to the ducks who fight for it. You know, the ones who are really aggressive. Some girls will just give their bread to anybody. And you know what? If you look like me, and your girl is only feeding the big black geese, she's not for you. That's not racist, I just don't have that much bread. But obviously, I just, when I think of these things, and I do these things, because obviously I wasn't raised properly. And the reason I wasn't raised properly is because when I grew up, my parents were drug addicts. And the thing is, I say that because I didn't know they were. I just knew when I grew up, my parents were really weird when they had the sniffles. Like, Mom, whenever she had the sniffles, she would clean the hell out of the trailer. I'm just waiting, because most of the time when I say trailer in Fredericksburg, y'all laugh. All right, right on. Everyone owns a house. Excuse me. My dad was the worst, though. Whenever my dad had the sniffles, he would come up to me and be like, all right, son, we're going out back to practice. And I was like, Dad, it's 3 a.m. What are we practicing? Which sport? And he goes, all of them. So I'm sitting out back with a football helmet on, holding a baseball bat, while he throws basketballs at me, calling me a pussy, which isn't helping. But you know what? One thing my parents did do right, though. Anybody here a parent by round of applause? Anybody? Let me ask, one thing my parents did do right, if I acted up, you know what happened? No timeout. Get your ass beat. That's what happens. Anybody here beat their kids like you're supposed to? Yeah. Only people that aren't hesitant think there's a social worker in here. Because I've seen kids in the bowling alley downstairs walking with gimps. But see, that's one thing they did right. It's just there's one problem. When your parents are drug addicts, guess who doesn't get tired? One time my mom was beating my brother's ass, and I pissed her off, and she grabbed his arm and beat my ass third person. I mean, it's not like you can judge me that bad. Everybody here, I think, is struggling with money, though. Isn't everybody here struggling with money? Yeah, you are. And the thing is, you know, it also shows in the schools around here. It does, because I used to go to school around here, and now it's actually sad, because if you go around to some stores, you'll see kids, like football players, or they'll come up to you with a discount card, and they'll be like, hey, can you spend $5 or $10 and get this discount card? And it's followed by like 20 sponsors. And it's weird now because that's how dedicated they are to the football programs now. If you ever go to a Massaponax or Cortland football game now, this is what it sounds like. And Subway takes the snap. And he passes it to Carl's ice cream, tattooed by Jack Brown's, fumble recovered by Little Tire. Let me ask this, anybody here like having sex by round of applause? Anybody? I don't have good transitions, that's what I'm getting at. Let me ask this, how many of y'all like having sex but you like it rough? Who would have knew the Cowboys fan was a dirty bitch? No, I'm just playing. If you weren't with a guy, I'd buy you a drink. You know what? It might work. Right on. I like your style. If it works out, you're coming too. I've never been called grandson, but... Before I was talking about 3 felonies, the reason I asked that though is because when I was in high school, I met this girl and she told me she liked it rough. And I was like, what does that mean? She said, well, you gotta smack me. You gotta talk dirty to me. You gotta pull my hair. I was like, easy, Rihanna. I mean, I wanted to give it a shot and I did. It's just, I probably should have waited till we're having sex to do it. That's the second time I got featured in Crime Times. Before I get out of here, I like the people know that comics will come up here and we'll make fun of ourselves a lot, whether we're in a relationship or not. But sometimes it's a comic if you're young and you're a single guy. Sometimes when you tell jokes, you just want to go out and have fun and have a one-night stand. All right? And for a long time, this was working great for me. I would go on stage. I wouldn't tell jokes like that, but I would go on stage and it would go on well, and I'd pick a girl up and we'd go back to my house. And first of all, I let her stay the night because I'm a gentleman. Second of all, chloroform knocks you out. It's a mess. But before they wake up, I would always go over to my dresser, and I leave a bottle of herpes medication on it. And every time they woke up and saw it, I never heard from them again. Last month, I picked up a girl in Culpeper, and as she's coming to, she looks over at the dresser, and she starts freaking out, as most do. And she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And before I could say, let me explain, she looked at me and she was like, I don't remember taking that out of my purse. I'm sorry. My name's Kevin Dodd. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Kevin Dodd, everybody. If you want to see more of Kevin Dodd, he also does church events. So right after the show, you get his number. Probably not a good idea. Pretty funny though. It's true about